Everyone knows modern bodybuilders look absolutely insane, but old school strongmen, they did things that shouldn't even be humanly possible. Pulling cars with their teeth, snapping chains with their bare hands, and here's the crazy part, they weren't even doing the training you might think. No high-tech gyms, no anabolic science, just raw, secret methods that most lifters today have completely forgotten. Let's break down the secret science that made them freakishly strong. But before we dive in, here's the question that keeps strength historians arguing. Were these men just genetic freaks, or did they tap into a style of training we've basically abandoned? Stick with me, because by the end, you'll see how their methods can actually boost your strength today without spending hours in the gym. First big secret, isometric. Strongmen like Alexander Zass, known as the Iron Samson, built strength not by endless reps, but by straining against immovable objects, pulling on chains, pushing against iron bars, holding static positions until their body shook. Modern science shows isometrics activate over 95% of your muscle fibers, more than almost any other method. That's why Samson could literally tear steel apart. It wasn't magic, it was neuromuscular overload, teaching the nervous system to recruit maximum force. And here's where it gets wild. This wasn't just about muscle, it was about tendon strength, the very thing most lifters today completely ignore. See, tendons are like the transmission in your car. You can rev the engine all day, your muscles, but if the transmission is weak, the power never gets to the wheels. Old school strongmen hammered their tendons through chain isometrics, bending nails, and lifting odd objects. Modern studies back this. Tendons adapt slower than muscle, but once they're reinforced, your lifts skyrocket. That's why Samson's grip could hold back galloping horses, literally. Second secret, odd objects. Instead of perfect barbells and machines, strongmen lifted sandbags, anvils, and barrels of water. But why? Because these objects shift, wobble, and fight back. This forces your stabilizers to fire like crazy. It's the original functional training decades before it even became a buzzword. This explains why a 180-pound strongman from 1920 could outgrip modern gym rats twice his size. Their strength wasn't just for show, it was actually chaos tested. And wait until you hear their final secret. It wasn't even physical training. Strongmen weren't just lifters, they were performers. They trained their mind as much as their muscles. Visualization, breath control, and pain tolerance were part of their practice. Samson believed that strength was 50% mental focus. Modern sports psych agrees. Mental rehearsal boosts performance. So when you see a man holding back two horses, you're looking at someone who trained his nervous system to believe it was possible before his muscles ever tried. So here's the secret science boiled down. 1, over 95% muscle fiber activation from isometrics. 2, tendon and connective tissue training for unstoppable transfer of force. 3, chaos tested odd object lifting to bulletproof stabilizers. And 4, mental conditioning as the amplifier. That's why these guys were legendary. They weren't chasing aesthetics, they were chasing unreal freak show strength. Now, if you want to taste even a fraction of what these men did, start simple. Grab a heavy duty chain or an isometric training strap, stuff you can find right on Amazon for cheap. You don't need a full gym. Just 10 minutes of chain pulls or isometric holds can fire up your nervous system in ways traditional reps never will. I'll drop a link below to the exact type of gear I recommend if you want to experiment with the old school method yourself. So were old school strongmen just circus freaks? Or were they onto something science is finally catching up to? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're curious about training like the legends, hit that link and try it yourself. Who knows, maybe you'll discover you have a little Samson in you.